Some reaction now from Steve Phillips. Steve, I would think this wasn't just about what Vladimir Guerrero Jr. said, but also how he said it. Do you believe this marks the beginning of the end of Vlad's relationship with the Toronto Blue Jays?
Absolutely. I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, one thing that's very clear, in Vladimir Guerrero's mind, they're far apart in negotiations, and the reality is it's only going to get further apart. I mean, once he gets to free agency, and there's not going to be any more negotiations, that's done, it's over with. I take the player at his word. When he says negotiations end on this date, they end. So he's going to go to free agency. And then ultimately, the demand is going to be 30 teams, including the Blue Jays, with a level of interest in it. It's only going to make the price go up. And so the reality is you're looking at a potential trade on July 31st at the trade deadline. If the Blue Jays aren't in it, he could very well be moved, which also could mean that Bo Bichette could get traded, that Chris Bassett could get traded, Max Scherzer. I mean, you're looking at everybody who could be on the final year of a contract ultimately getting traded at that time. And so it is a linchpin moment, no question, for this organization.
And a lot of Jays fans, I'm sure, are scratching their heads now. Just a couple of months ago, the team was reportedly up around the $700 million mark in their offer to Juan Soto. You'd think that Vladdy's demands were well below that. Why do you think the sides couldn't get this deal done?
Well, I think in part because the Blue Jays don't look at Vladimir Guerrero Jr. the same way they look at Juan Soto. I think that part's clear. You know, the market for all teams is a bit different. I mean, Juan Soto is a left-handed hitting outfielder. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., a right-handed hitting first baseman. Although both of them are young, you know, you look at the market and as for right-handed hitting first baseman, when they get into their 30s, teams do not pursue them. Look at Pete Alonso. He only had the Mets as a market. The Blue Jays were in, but not getting a long-term deal. And so I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a bit complicated. Because he's young, he's coveted. People want him. But as he gets older, you wonder what the value will be. And I think that's where it gets a bit complicated. And so the Blue Jays came off of that a bit. But I don't even know I don't even know what Vladimir Guerrero Jr. wants right now. And I don't think the Jays' mistake is really walking away from whatever he wants now. I think the mistake was made earlier. The deal should have been done in November, because whatever he was wanting in November, they would make that deal right now. They would be uncomfortable. They would make that deal right now because it was much more reasonable than after the Soto deal. The mistake they made was pursuing Juan Soto, delaying the Guerrero negotiations to the point that Guerrero attached himself to Soto and priced himself out of their market.
Guerrero is among the best homegrown players in the history of the Toronto Blue Jays. So what impact will this have, this news today, on both the franchise and the fan base?
Well, it's the end of an era. I don't think there's any question about that. This was going to be the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. era with Bo Bichette. And it's going to be the end of it. Now, they'll play out the 25 season, and whether he finishes the season, they have a run to make the playoffs or not, but it will come to an end, and they're going to have to go in a different direction. They don't have that next homegrown player to build around. It doesn't mean they can't be competitive in 26. I do expect that they will be. They still have some talent there. Even if they trade away players, they're going to free up money. They're going to be able to have some options to go to in free agency next year and still have talent on the roster, but it will be a different team, one that the fans will certainly feel differently about without that same personal connection and emotional connection that they have right now to Guerrero and Bichette and some of the other homegrown players.
Yeah, I just want to follow up to close on the impact this could have. The Jays are hoping 2025 is a bounce back, win now type of season. Could this Vladdy situation really be a cloud that hangs over the entire season?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I think right now it had to suck the wind out of the clubhouse in spring training. And look, it could motivate Guerrero to go out and have a great season, get the big contract. But Bichette as well, Bassett as well. Guys in the last years can be motivated, but it does feel like the end and not the beginning. It does feel like a down period and not an exciting period. It can change, but it's going to take a Herculean effort to get those emotions changed during spring training so they start the season with the right emotional attitude in 2025.
Our baseball insider, Steve Phillips. Thanks, Steve.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to the Dodgers. Blue Jays fans fear the worst. Studio microphone YouTube video script. Intro 20 SEC. Hey, Dodgers fans. Police car light, there's a new blockbuster rumor that could change everything for LA. Imagine one of the league's most powerful sluggers joining our stacked lineup. Yeah, we're talking about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. With his contract situation in Toronto getting messy, fans are already panicking about where he might end up, and a lot of them are pointing straight at Los Angeles. Could the Dodgers actually pull this off? Stick around, because we're breaking down every detail, every quote, and every possibility. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments, would you want Vlad Jr. in Dodger Blue? Blue Heart Baseball. Setting the stage, 50 SEC. Alright, here's the situation. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the all-star first baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays, set a deadline for a contract extension. That deadline just passed, and no deal was made. This means one thing, Vlad Jr. is set to hit free agency this offseason. And if that wasn't enough to make Blue Jays fans nervous, his comments about free agency just turned their fears into full-blown panic. When asked what he's looking for in his next contract, he didn't mention money. He didn't talk about loyalty to Toronto. He said just two words, winning team. And if you're talking about winning, who comes to mind faster than the Los Angeles Dodgers? Smirking face. The nightmare scenario, 2 minutes. The moment Guerrero mentioned wanting to join a winning team, Blue Jays fans lost it. Social media exploded with comments like, "Congratulations on joining the Dodgers in advance," and "There's no way I'm cheering for the Dodgers, even with Vlad on the team." The thought of Vlad Jr. in Dodger Blue is their worst nightmare. And honestly, who could blame them? Just imagine a lineup featuring Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That's a pitcher's worst nightmare. Flushed face fire. Some fans even speculated about how he'd fit in LA. Would he take over at third base, his original position? Would Freddie Freeman move to left field? Or could we see a rotation to keep everyone's bat in the lineup? This kind of flexibility is exactly why so many people believe the Dodgers are the perfect fit. They're known for making bold moves and finding a way to make the pieces fit, no matter how big those pieces are. Why Vlad Jr. wants out 1 minute. So, why would Vladimir Guerrero Jr. even consider leaving Toronto? The answer is simple, legacy. Guerrero Jr. isn't just playing for himself. He's playing for his father, Vladimir Guerrero Sr., a Hall of Famer who played 16 seasons but never won a World Series. Vlad Jr. was very clear about his goal. "My personal goal is to win a World Series and give the ring to my dad. That's all I'm looking for." And as much as he says he loves Toronto, if he doesn't believe they can deliver a championship, he's ready to walk. If winning is his top priority, how could he not consider the Dodgers? A team that's been in the playoffs 11 straight years and won the World Series as recently as 2020. What this means for the Dodgers, 1 minute 30 SEC. Alright, let's get to the good stuff. What would this mean for the Dodgers? Wide heavy checkmark and unstoppable lineup. Adding Guerrero Jr. to an already stacked roster would give LA one of the most terrifying lineups in baseball history. Wide heavy checkmark position flexibility. Vlad Jr. could play first base, but he also came up as a third baseman. The Dodgers could get creative, especially if Freddie Freeman eventually moves to DH or another spot. Wide heavy checkmark championship contenders. With Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, and Vlad Jr., the Dodgers wouldn't just be playoff contenders, they'd be World Series favorites for years to come. But it wouldn't come cheap. The Dodgers would need to offer a massive contract, likely in the range of $300 million or more. Fortunately, we know they're not afraid to spend. And with deferred salaries and no salary cap, they can get it done. Is this good for baseball? 1 minute. But here's where it gets controversial. Some people are saying that if Guerrero Jr. joins the Dodgers, it could be bad for baseball. Why? Well, the Dodgers already landed Shohei Ohtani and Blake Snell this offseason. If they also get Vlad Jr., it raises concerns about competitive balance. Is it fair for one team to scoop up so much superstar talent? Some fans say no, arguing it's hurting the league's parity. But if you're a Dodgers fan, you're probably thinking, hey, if other teams don't want us to sign him, maybe they should make better offers, smirking face. Conclusion, 50 SEC. So, what's going to happen? Right now, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is still a Blue Jay. but he's made it clear he wants to play for a contender. And if the Dodgers make an offer, it's hard to imagine him turning it down. This offseason is going to be crazy, and the rumors are only getting started. If Vlad Jr. does end up in LA, the Dodgers would be in a prime position to dominate for the next decade. But now, we want to hear from you. Would you want Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in Dodger Blue? Do you think he's the missing piece for another World Series title? Drop a comment below. Memo speech balloon. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and share it with your fellow Dodgers fans. Blue Heart Baseball will see you in the next one.